Sega.
Sega. Hey guys and girls, so welcome to the 5th and final game in the 5 games in 5 days series. Today we're going to be tackling Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 2D. A 2D remake of the 5th worst Sonic the Hedgehog game, or at least the 5th worst 3D Sonic the Hedgehog game anyway. And now we have our menu screen. It's pretty much as basic as you can get. You got your music options only. You've only got single player only, trial select, which we can't select just yet, and of course story mode, which we're about to head into now. Now story mode pretty much covers Sonic only. Story mode is pretty much the loosest description as you can possibly get, because there's technically there is no story to Sonic 06 2D. There's no cutscenes, no other parts dialogue or anything like that. It's just simple level to level of Sonic scenario, and that's literally it. Wave version. Let's see. This and every level is pretty much faithfully recreated as closely as possible to the Sonic 06. In some instances, probably a little too close, because there are some dick moments in certain levels which we'll get to later. But in the meantime, let's just, enjoy Wave Ocean, and, well, for what's left of it anyway, because we're pretty much closing on the end of the level anyway. As I say, each level in Sonic 06 2D pretty much just has the platforming sections to it. It doesn't have like the it doesn't have the Mark Speed sections for starters, and also doesn't have any kind of like a snowboarding levels either. So we're actually reaching the end of Wave Ocean now. Tails, go ahead and release the gate switch so he doesn't get out. Okay, Sonic, I'll be right back. Thank you, Tails, you saved me. And there we go, that's the end of the level. No Mark Speed section needed right here. It's interesting though that the Mark Speed sections aren't included in this remake, because if I remember from an older video, where when this was being when this was being developed, it actually did have the Mark Speed section. Or at least it did have for Wave Ocean anyway, and it pretty much had, warning signs of when danger was approaching, so you could avoid them instantly and then not run into them in such a dick way possible. So I wonder why those were taken out. Interesting. But anyway, here we are in our first boss situation, the Egg Cerberus. As everybody points out, the Egg Cerberus only has one head, which is a little odd. Excuse me. And of course, the Egg Cerberus is it's easier in one respect versus the 3D version, but it's also slightly hard as well, because obviously being on a 2D plane and you have a limited range of sight, you can't exactly tell where the dog is jumping, so you have that risk of being stomped on. However, it is easier in the sense that the homing attack actually works properly, and you'll actually glide, and you will slide, grind. That's the word I was looking for. You will actually grind successfully on top of the Egg Cerberus and straight to his head. And another thing that makes it easier as well is that you don't have to control the Egg Cerberus once you're on top of it. This bit is actually done automatically. He will just run into the wall because he's stupid. Right, I think we've got one hit left to go. So the Egg Cerberus does have its two other attacks. It does have its jumping attack, and its I can't remember what the other attack is. I think it's just its stomp attack with its front legs. It's been a while since I've actually fought the Egg Cerberus when it's not doing this. But I think we don't have much to go. Here we go. Yep. I tell you what, when you actually play this boss fight, the Egg Cerberus, for a two-dimensional sprite, is actually really, really well animated. And that's the end of the Egg Cerberus, and I think that's our second consecutive S rank. Because, as always is the case with Sonic 06, it's pretty hard to not S rank the boss battles. And next up is Dusty Desert. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I absolutely fucking hate this version of Dusty Desert. Simply because of the the very closely emulated mechanics of Sonic 06. Let's say the homing attack, obviously when you're just using it as a forward dash, is pretty closely replicated, and you don't go very far with it, which makes this sand section here a little. You got to be perfect with the sand sections, otherwise you'll just obviously end up landing in the sand and sinking into it. Now, obviously, like, there's a couple of dick moments in this level, like right there with those fucking spike bars. That's not going to be the last we see of those. But there are certain sections of this Dusty Desert, sorry, not Dusty Hill. This isn't the base of Sonic 2. Of this Dusty Desert, which are easier than the original 3D version. That bit, that earlier bit there with the 2 spike balls is actually more dickish than I made it look. But I'm just, like Sonic 06 itself, I'm so used to the way the game handles, you know, I can avoid glitches and dick moments with relative ease. I mean, there are still a couple of instances where, you know, it'll catch me out, but on the whole, it's not too bad. And of course, nothing's more satisfying than doing a slide right into a row of egg pawns. And there we are, right at the end of Dusty Desert, thankfully. 1 minute 26. I don't think I'm getting an S rank on this one. No, I don't think there's an S rank. Nah. Close though.
Too easy. No sweat.
I wouldn't quite say that, Sonic. It took quite a bit of practice to get Dusty Desert done right. Ah, here we are. Silver the Hedgehog. This boss fight is also... It can be as dickish as the original 3D version, but if you do it with this method that I'm using right now, at the beginning of the fight, you go straight to your left, or you collect some rings first, then go straight to your left. Silver will run towards you, but before he actually, you know, does his psychokinesis attack on you, it's no use! He will actually do the, he'll lift things up instead. He'll do his lifting things up attack. And he'll constantly do this, and he won't attack you with no use. It's no use! And of course, this boss fight pretty much... It shows that actually the spin dash in this game is back to being useful again. I mean, we all know how useless it practically is in Sonic 06, where it all just goes everywhere and you can't actually jump out, you can't actually cancel it by jumping out of it. You gotta let it carry on until it stops. But in Sonic 06 2D, it actually isn't that bad. And of course, now we have White Acropolis Zone. A couple of things need to mention in this. Obviously, the spectacular snowboarding section was taken out. I mean, what was they thinking with that? And for some bizarre reason, I don't know why, but the frame counter appears in the corner. But other than that, White Acropolis, or at least this version, isn't actually that bad. There's a couple of instances where you got these giant egg mechs, where some of their attacks are a little difficult to avoid, but it's a small trade-off for what is essentially an easier version of White Acropolis, so... And of course, what with it being a 2D game, you know, it's quite linear, there aren't really many multiple routes you can go down, so this one is, it's easier. I'm quite surprised I actually ran into that spike bar, because if I remember right, I'm pretty sure that I jumped straight out of it, but... Such is the game mechanics of Sonic 06, you know? That's another thing that actually annoys me as well about this remake. Obviously, I mentioned earlier that it emulates the original game a little too closely. One of the features, well, I say that loosely, of the original game was that Sonic wouldn't be able to attack enemies just by simply spinning into them. I don't know why this game emulates that. I don't know. That just seems like a bizarre thing to emulate. I mean, you have a chance to make this game better, and you include one of the worst features in the game, especially in a 2D game where the spin jump attack would actually work. It would actually be, you know, welcome. I mean, don't get me wrong, the homing attack is pretty good, but you have those moments where the homing attack doesn't always work, and you're just left jumping straight into the enemy, and you lose rings because of it. But anyway, 10 minutes in, and we've already reached my favourite stage, but I think you guys already knew that. Crisis City, and of course we start off on the rail grinding section, because the original Crisis City, it had the snowboard section at the start. The whole city's on fire! And the Mark Speed section, which I'm a little upset that this doesn't actually have, but on the whole, it's probably just as well, really, because Crisis City's Mark Speed section can be a bit of a dick, you know. That tornado's carrying a car! And this bit right here, this bit's actually easier to get to navigate than it is on the 3D version, because you don't have to actually aim for where the extra life and the rainbow ring are. And I always like knowing if I can hit this bit just before 1 minute, then I'm on track to get an S rank. I'm not actually sure if I prefer this version of Crisis City or the 3D version of Crisis City. So obviously I did my recent video with my 700 plus ring video on Crisis City, but I don't know, I kind of like this version as well. It's only 2 sections long, but boom! I wondered how they were going to replicate this bit, and to be fair, I wasn't disappointed. Well, of course, now we're on the tornado bit. Gotta be, obviously, like on the original 3D version, you gotta be a little bit careful on this, because the Iblis bats, I think they are, they can catch you off guard when you homing attack into their bullets and you think you've homing attacked into them. And that bit there with the light speed dash, that can catch you off guard so easily, and you end up falling into the abyss below. Well, at least this bit's actually easier than the 3D version. Yeah, there are instances where in this game the 2D bits are easier than the 3D version. Oh, but it's the same vice versa, you know, the 2D bits which for some reason are actually harder and difficult to navigate than the 3D version, simply because in 3D you have the option of moving around them, whereas in 2D you don't. Well, not really. Here we are, guys. End of the stage. And let me just sit back and relax, because I know what rank I'm getting for this. That was incredible! I don't think you guys expected less of me, to be honest with you. And here we are in the wonderful flame core, and once again, for some reason, the frame rate counter is visible. Gotta be careful not to fall off here. Woohoo! What a view! That's another thing about this version as well. A lot of the dialogue has been cut out. I don't know if that was due to time constraints or to keep the file size down, or for whatever reason, but I don't know, I do kind of miss them, even if they are kind of silly. And of course those bits there where Sonic's running along the wall, they are much, there we go, see, that's what I mean when I say that. I don't think I actually did say it actually, but sometimes the light speed dash doesn't always work, and you end up just going forward instead, or dropping down. But I think in that instance, that was actually my fault, because I pushed the stomp button by accident rather than the light spin dash. But sometimes the light spin dash doesn't work, and you end up just going forward for whatever reason. And that's another instance where I wish, you know, you could just simply spin attack into the enemies, because that would have been really handy. And of course, Flame Corp has its fair share of dick moves, and in this case, it's the Fire Gazers. As I swear their hitboxes are slightly larger than the fire themselves. Which actually makes, I think it's this instance coming up, really difficult to avoid. Is it this instance? It could be actually, yeah. No, it's not this bit. I think it's this bit right here. So you're either faced with this option here, trying to just hang on to the edge of the platform and then just going into the lava and having to kill yourself because you can't get back up there. Or you take a hit and you go straight into the fire geyser. Geyser, whatever. See what I mean? Sonic just gets fire right up his ass. But I suppose it's for the greater good. And you get an extra life, you know, if you make it this far, so... I suppose it's okay, but still. I want to shorten the hitbox on the fire. Now, I'm not entirely sure what actually it was that caused me to lose my rings at that point when I hit the Iblis Worm. And one way to actually defend yourself against the Iblis Worm when it's going underground and burying and like this is just to simply do this, the bounce move, because it won't attack you. Well, at least it won't hurt you when you do that, so it's a good way of defending yourself. I think we're heading into the volcano now. Yep, there we go. See, that's exactly what I meant when you try to do the homing attack, the light speed dash, and it ends up doing the homing attack for whatever reason. And I could have sworn that I was nowhere near the fire when that attacked, when that hurt. So, but whatever, you know, like I said, you know, this game closely emulates Sonic 06 for whatever reason. I mean, I'm all for, like, you know, remakes of Sonic 06. That's why I played the game in the first place, because, you know, it handles... On the whole, it does handle better than Sonic 06, because it's obviously 2D, and it has the visual style of Sonic Advance. But there are just some instances where it really shouldn't have emulated Sonic 06 in the first place, like the spin attack and... some of the control glitches, but on the whole, you know, it is actually alright. I would highly recommend you download this game and give it a try, because it really is fun. And of course, these bits here with Sonic running along the wall, they are actually a lot easier to control. And of course, going down the going down the chasm, I suppose, is probably the best word for it. With all the fire coming out, it's a lot easier to control as well, instead of just having to jump down there and hoping for the best. And of course, something else I forgot to mention as well, it's literally just Sonic in this game. There's no one else. No Knuckles, no Tails, no Rouge, no Shadow, no Silver. Well, apart from the Silver boss fight. Nobody. So you're not going to get Knuckles' section here, which is a shame really, because I actually do like finishing Flame Core as Knuckles by doing the wall glitch that you can do on this section. I think it's actually this bit. Well, I say this bit in the 3D version anyway. Thanks, Knuckles! Or something like that. I don't think we've got much further left to go with this level now. And one thing I've noticed as well, I know they're pretty sparse in the 3D version. I think I've only found one. But I've noticed there's absolutely no invincibility boxes in this game whatsoever. Of course, I'd be flying down here as Knuckles by now. And there's the end of Flame Core. Alright! I guess that weren't too bad. I've only ever gotten a B rank as Knuckles. In fact, I don't think I've ever gotten an S rank on Flame Core.
No problem.
Oh dear, C rank. I can't remember what Knuckles says at this point.
I found a Chaos Emerald.
Don't touch it!
What? What's this?
Sorry guys, I couldn't resist putting that cutscene in. It felt so right, you know. Everybody knows where Shadow says, "Don't touch it!" Right, anyway, yeah, sorry, I was miles away with that one. Right, boss fight with Iblis time. Now, you could do this boss fight normally and take about 4 minutes to do it, or you can cheat, basically. On the 3D version, for those of you that may know, you can, you know, cheat the boss fight by jumping into the lava and then using the invincibility frames to head over to the platforms at the back and attacking the orb straight away, without having to wait for the platform to come down. You can do a similar sort of thing in this version. You can't do the exact same thing because the homing attack doesn't quite work as well. But we'll show you because I do it. What you need to do is just wait for Iblis to attack, and then once you've attacked him, these platforms that Sonic's standing on right now, they will stay there for about a second, and you have to be really, really quick, because if you can jump onto them in time, you can attack the orb on the other side, and Iblis will head straight for it. Watch. You gotta be quick though. Boom! You can see now the platform disappeared, because obviously it wants to emulate the game closely, so it wants to make you wait for it, but we ain't gonna wait for that shit. And of course, you've actually got to fucking time that right. You can take the hit, because you only need to do this trick once, but obviously if you don't want to lose your rings, then you got to time it right. It's difficult to do, but obviously it can be done. Iblis has got one more hit left, and that's when he tunnels into the lava and tries to destroy every platform out from underneath you. It's actually this version of that attack is actually a lot easier. I'm not entirely sure if hitting the orb at this point actually, you know, triggers Iblis to do that tunneling attack, but I do it anyway, so. And down he goes. Here he comes. I say, every time I've actually played this boss fight, Iblis always comes in from the right. So just one more hit and that'll do it. There we go, guys. 2.5 minutes as opposed to around 4 minutes. I think that's pretty good. And of course, we all know what rank I'm going to get on this one. That was incredible! I know, Sonic. I know. Well, that's what happens when you cheese your way through the boss fight. Right, Radical Train. I can't remember if this is... I can't remember how annoying this stage is on the 3D version, but I do remember the Mark Speed section being incredibly fucking annoying. But, thankfully, that's not the case here, because the Mark Speed section isn't there. And I reckon, you know, if the Mark Speed section probably was here, it wouldn't actually be that bad, because you haven't got to worry too much about fucking controlling Sonic left or right. That's usually one of the bad things about the Mark Speed section, is how Sonic handles on from left to right anyway, so especially in mid-air. I mean, controlling Sonic in mid-air fucking left and right in the 3D version is a pain in the ass. Especially, well, during the Mark Speed section anyway. But just being a bit careful on this bit, because when I first played this, I couldn't work out why Sonic was going so fucking slowly, and of course then I remembered that bit was the conveyor belt bit, so I think we're actually heading to, I think we're quite close to the end of Radical Train now. I think we've just got one more blocked door section to go, and that's it. Can't really have a... I'm going to say is thank God that train doesn't fucking hurt you. Can't remember what I was going to say actually then, just before then. I can't remember what I was going to say. And of course these enemies are a pain in the ass to try and avoid when in this version. In the 3D version they're not too bad, obviously, because they're firing 2 lasers and you can go in between them. But obviously in a 2D version, you know, 2D playing, that laser's going to go all the fucking way across the screen. So you got to make sure you spam that spacebar and kill that thing straight away.
Just made it.
Pretty much, yeah, Sonic.
You think you can intimidate me with just your size? Come on, let's see what you
Now,
can do.
I've got to admit, I actually do like the Egg Genesis fight in this game. It's actually really impressive, because I don't know what it is. I really like the way the Egg Genesis was animated. I'm not entirely sure if that's just really clever 2D animation or if that's actually a 3D model. It probably is a 3D model, because this level actually takes about 10 seconds or so to load. Which isn't too bad versus God knows how long it takes for Sonic 06 3D to load normally, so it's a fair trade-off if you ask me. Unfortunately, in this boss fight, you can't cheese the fight by going underneath the Egg Genesis and attacking it using the bounce attack. That won't work. Damn it! The one glitch! You had one job, Bad Dog and Sonic fan. You don't include this bit, but you include the useless spin jump attack. Right. Of course, this is the point where the Egg Genesis is now just going to completely lower its head every time you attack it, but you know, I don't really care much for rings because the trade-off is you get this done quicker and you get yourself a nice little S rank. So, you know, I think it's a fair trade. You know, you abuse invincibility frames. And actually, this is actually something I was meant to say earlier in the fight. You know, one thing I actually like about the Egg Genesis is how its head is the same as the E100 series. So I reckon this probably is actually one of the E100 series, but I'm not entirely sure what E number it would actually have. What was it? Omega is E123. So what do you reckon the Egg Genesis would be? E150? It's massive, so it's probably an E200 series. But that's just this just me speculating anyway. It's probably not even part of the E series, E100 series anyway. But anyway, here comes its little kamikaze attack. As long as you've got rings, you know, you're going to be absolutely fine. And Sonic's part of the explosion and he's dead. That's it. End of the game. Oh, never mind. I didn't actually mean to sound excited then when Sonic appeared to have died in the explosion. There we are. Over 30,000 points. Gets you your S rank. Ah, Topical Jungle. Now, I actually don't mind this version of Tropical Jungle, partly because it's actually linear, so you don't have to worry too much about getting lost and fucking jumping on turtles and god knows what else. But there is a couple of instances where I think, yeah, you know, that could have been improved a little bit. For example, this swinging vine section, there's no light on the flower to indicate when is a good time to jump. And there's one instance towards the end of the level where you're swinging on the vine, and for whatever reason, as soon as you jump off of it, it seems to think it registers another jump straight after, so you homing attack almost instantly, and you've got to be really precise with that jump. I mean, normally you could just hold the spacebar down and Sonic will still just jump once, but when you jump off of that vine, you hold the spacebar down, and excuse me, Sonic does his homing attack straight away. In fact, I think that will actually be shown. Right, that's how it normally should work. And of course, gun sentries don't hurt him, but it'll cut his wind energy down bit by bit. Right, I think it's actually this vine that does it. See what I mean? So you jump off of it, but for whatever reason, Sonic homing attacks as well. It registers as a double jump, which is a pain in the ass. But once you get used to it, even though you shouldn't have to, but once you get used to it, you've then got a 50-50 chance of making it to the end of the level with an S rank intact. So we haven't got much longer the level now, so we're just swinging on the jungle, Tarzan style. Oh!
Yes.
I do like this little bit. Whee! Kind of reminds me of Chemical Plant Zone for some reason. I do love those square loop-the-loops. Well, square. I'm not sure what the shape is called actually. It's a square with the curved corners. I'm not sure if that's actually got a name to it or not. I'll probably find out eventually anyway. Yeah, do a quick Google search. Square with curved corners is one of them. Kingdom Valley. I actually don't mind this stage so much. I didn't mind it in the 3D version, so it's a shame you can't do grinding on the rails on this particular part like you could in the original, but it's not too bad. And of course, we don't have to worry about playing as Rouge the Bat or fucking Knuckles in this game.
Okay, yes.
Actually, thinking about it, could you... What's this section, did you have to play as Knuckles in this section? I don't remember doing so, actually. I think it was... I know in Sonic's story it was Silver, so... I know at one point you had to play as Rouge the Bat, because I remembered fucking... her stupid fucking bomb attack, so it didn't always work, and that was rather stupid of me.
Whoa!
Say some deaths obviously are my fault. Yeah, you got some deaths that happen simply because the game emulated the original for God knows what reason, and I completely forgot that I had to fucking homing attack that. Not homing attack, like spin dash, but I'm pretty sure that I did. There are instances actually where sometimes the I know I've said that the light speed dash doesn't sometimes always work, and you just end up going forward. But there are times where it doesn't actually work full stop, and you have to spam the X button just in order to get it to work. I must admit though, as annoying as some of the emulation of this of the original game is, I gotta admit it's still quite impressive how close it manages to get the level design. Obviously, you've got some sacrifices to make because of the transition from 3D to 2D, but on the whole, I actually don't think it's that bad. I think it's pretty impressive actually. I think I remember seeing a video one time of an early build of this game where it wasn't actually emulated Sonic 06 itself, but rather it was kind of Sonic 06, but it took the level design was actually inspired from Sonic 06 rather than being a direct port of it. And I do like the fact that it's kind of the design, the presentation. It's Sonic Advance style. I actually quite like that. It fits surprisingly well. Obviously, Sonic Sprite is not directly from Sonic Advance, or at least I don't think it is. It certainly doesn't look like it. It definitely looks like it was inspired by Sonic Advance, but not taken directly from it. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sonic sprites were just modified from Sonic Advance and just added into the game with additional bits and pieces. Another thing also I like about this game is the way that the debris just sort of flies around. It's almost like a version of the Havoc engine. I actually think that's pretty impressive, especially for a fan game as well. I mean, I don't know how skilled Bad Dog and Shadow Fan are when it comes to... Oh, fuck.
Whoa!
Whoa! He even still has that. Oh, it's such a shame that Shadow isn't playable in this, because it's nice to hear his no! And that killed my throat. The gunshots don't hurt individually, but they'll cut down my ring energy bit by bit. So they will hurt individually then, Sonic. I was trying for the last fucking half an hour to remember exactly what it is that Sonic says about the gunshots. Now I remember. Do I get a cookie? I'm pretty sure I handled this section better in my last life than I did then. But that's okay. Yeah, what was I saying? No, I can't remember. Yeah, the way the debris flies about and it's similar to the Havoc engine. You know, I don't know exactly how skilled Bad Dog and Shadow Fan are when it comes to game development, but if this is anything to go by, then it's pretty fucking cool. Completely forgot there was a wall there. I'm wondering why Sonic isn't going anywhere.
Yes.
I think, if I remember rightly now, we're heading towards the end of the level. Of course, you haven't got to worry about those pillars falling, because we're not Shadow and we're not in our hovercraft. Yep, you can hear the goal ring now. Just spam the spacebar, get them killed, get that door open, and get that ring. I don't think we've got far to go now. I think we've just got Aquatic Ocean left. Is Aquatic Bass? Sorry.
No problem.
You gotta be joking, Sonic. No problem. There we are, Aquatic Bass. Now this stage is just as a pain in the arse as the 3D version is. And if you don't know to slide underneath those energy beams, there we go. I'll get there eventually in the end. Then you're fucked, pretty much. You got to stand there and wait for them to momentarily turn off. But if you just spam the slide button, then you can get straight past this bit, no problem. And of course, Sonic's going so fast, you know, you don't always see it coming if you don't know to slide. And of course, I think this bit is with the invisible egg gun thing. Yeah, there it is. It's actually. Now, given the way that the homing attack works in this game, I'm quite surprised that I didn't just magically go into that rainbow ring anyway. Not that it matters anyway, because I'm not going for a perfect run in Aquatic Bass anyway. That's quite difficult to do. Aquatic Bass, going for a perfect run is pretty much tantamount to Eggman land. You know, all more power to you if you can do it, you know. But for the rest of us, you know, just getting past the level is good enough. And I do love the way I handle that bit. You know, pardon me for sounding conceited, but I think that was proper pro. Oh, goody gumdrops, we got ourselves the lovely little ball. And of course, because Sonic doesn't have his alternative shoes, we actually have to do this bit. So we don't have the choice of selecting our purple Primark shoes and doing the screw attack over this bit. So it's not that it's hard, it's just that it's boring. But hey, it's not as bad as doing Tails' section in this game, when you actually have to aim these fucking ring boxes at the 2 egg drones. That's really difficult to aim for, unless you somehow can aim for the magnetic posts, which I'll get to in a minute. There we go. There we go, there's those magnetic posts. If you can attack them, then you'll destroy every robot within the vicinity. Yeah, I was right first time. What am I doing? The same applies to Sonic 06 as well, so. I don't remember having to attack the robots at the top in order to progress through the door, but you can actually choose this bit by falling straight into the pit and just consistently going forward, because this part of the level, it still recognises when you've hit the end of the level, so it's all good. Oh, this bit coming up. Oh, I hate this bit in the 3D version, because you're going off the ramp, you're going straight into the air, and you've got to try, because of Sonic's original falling mechanics, you've really got to try and aim for this platform, but thankfully in this version, Sonic pretty much automatically lands on it. So that's a good thing. A very good thing. I don't think you've got to worry too much about the laser barriers in this bit. We had to defeat several egg pawns to lower the barrier. So we just go straight to the the glass doors. Actually, no. Thinking about it, that bit was Tails' scenario, wasn't it? So we don't have to worry about them at all. Just go straight for the those magnetic posts, and everything will be gravy. Well, everything's gravy as long as everything stops shooting at me. Excuse me. Now this bit can be a slight pain in the ass because Sonic will actually homing attack on whichever of the magnetic balls happens to be closest, and if you hit a magnetic ball which is on its way down towards the pit, you're gonna die, or at least come close to it. And of course, only just now they're turning on the Hedgehog alarm. You know, he's been in Aquatic Bass now for the last 5 minutes, and it's just suddenly been decided, oh no, there's a Hedgehog, quick, sound the alarm. Talk about slow. You can hear the attack, but thankfully it doesn't have enough reach, so that's always a good thing. That's the trouble with spamming the slide attack, because it doesn't always work. I don't know why I didn't just slide through them anyway, because they're only glass doors, Sonic can just bust through them straight away. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can still do that in the 3D version as well, so just hammer the X key, you'll be fine. Until all that happens. You know, for what it's worth, I'm quite surprised that when actually homing attack into one of the into any of the given robots with multiple hit with an energy bar, that I just don't bounce into them like I did just then, because that will kill them off a lot quicker, especially the larger robots. And there we go, the end of Aquatic Bass. I'm not expecting the best rank ever, but because I never ever do when I play this zone. There we are, B rank. Pretty much, Sonic. Right, guys, we're heading towards the end of the game now. We go defeat Dr. Robotnik in the Egg Wyvern. Now, this boss fight is actually a lot easier than the 3D version, and as a result, it's slightly boring, to be honest with you. I mean, right now you have the long platform, and you have Robotnik's 3 laser attacks, which are fucking telegraphed as anything. And this bit you don't have to worry about aiming for Robotnik either. And this bit's a lot easier as well because of the whole 2D thing. The Egg Wyvern can only be controlled up or down, you don't have to worry about it going in a 3rd dimension. So it's even easier to hit the falling debris with it. And it's also not as awkward to control, so because moving it up and down is absolutely fine, it moves perfectly well. You know, almost if it was made out of paper or plastic. Usually the Egg Wyvern just offers little to no resistance at all when Sonic gets hold of it. And these things are just so easy to avoid. You could easily just stand in between each attack and not move unless you absolutely had to. A lot of Robotnik's attacks are a lot easier to avoid in this version. One of the more interesting things I've actually discovered about this boss fight is even if you miss the falling debris, if somehow the debris hits the Egg Wyvern's back, it still counts as an attack, which makes sense, I suppose, because you're still hitting it. And of course, these lasers are a lot easier to dodge because you can actually see them, as opposed to the 3D version where you just gotta fucking hope for the best because you can't see them. You can see them coming, you just don't see where they're gonna land. Of course, this will be the last time you control the Egg Wyvern from its horn.
No! The canopy! Hey, Eggman, what's the matter? You! I'm just getting started.
Of course you are, Robotnik. Of course you are. I can't remember exactly what order Robotnik destroys the platforms in the 3D version. I can't remember if he actually goes for like just ones in the middle, ones on the corners, ones on the end, etc, etc. Just goes for any particular section of the platform in the 3D version. But in this game, he just goes for the ends of the platform, and that's it. And taking strategy from Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic Adventure, Robotnik thinks that's going to work again. Well, I'm not going to fall if you're just going to attack the ends of the platform. All I have to do is just stand in the middle, and that's it. Job's a good one. You know, everything's gravy. It's funny given how easy this boss fight is. You know, the music makes it sound a lot more epic than what it actually is.
Can you make it here? Do it!
Can you make it over here, Sonic? Oh, don't be so angry, Robotnik. You've pretty much opened yourself to attack. Not if I stand in the middle. I reckon this boss fight would have been funnier if Robotnik actually chose a random section of platform to take out rather than predictably going for one of the ends. Yes, Sonic can avoid that because it's just so well telegraphed. Alright, now you need to get yourself a decent run up here because Robotnik will be a lot further away. I can't remember if that's the case in Sonic 06 3D, but that's definitely the case here. Fall! And to be honest, I'm not even sure if those things, if those missiles hurt you or not, because I've never been hit by one, because they're so predictable. Here he comes.
Here I come, Sonic.
And we deliver the final blow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us to the end of the video. Wow, what a session. Right, guys and girls, that pretty much wraps it up, my 5 days in 5 games. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll leave you with what I consider to be the most beautifully animated cutscene of all time. So until then, take care of yourselves, and thanks for watching.
Incredible.
Sonic!
Aren't you worried?
If you have time to worry, then none, right?
Nice smile.